Today is the big day. It is the big day, or is it? Yeah, we're talking about Starship version 3, test flight number 12. It's a big deal. Hey, are you guys there? I know. I know. There are, I would say, better options. You could watch to stream to catch Launch 12, but I would more honestly say there are nothing but better options, but I'm fun too. And, kind of gonna watch it anyway. Figured I'd hang out with you fine folks. Let me know if you're here. Sound off in the chat. This will apparently has already been bumped to 6 p.m. Central. Thank you to AK Jammer for that. That would be 4 p.m. Pacific. What are you going to do? I have a Zoom call I must get to. We are planning, we are coordinating, we are getting everything ready and set for the big event in Muskegon. In just 14 days and 3 hours, it begins. It kicks off 2 weeks. You're going to be there? Please join us. We've got a fantastic lineup of speakers. Simon has done what he is calling his best ever light show, TeslaMichigan.org. We will have participation by Rivian. They will be there with test drives. There is a possibility an R2 will be present. Who knows? They might even bring the little electric bike. There will be Tesla has finally agreed to show up and offer test drives as well. So if you've never driven a new Model Y or a new Model 3 or a Cybertruck, I guess, I don't know what they're bringing. We shall find out. Chris Hilbert will be one of our speakers covering Rivian and whatnot. We have a whole adventure panel set up with him and Justin and Josh West 24/7. Doctors Gibbs and Know-It-All will be there talking robots. Of course, Jordan Giesecke, myself, many others. Going to be a lot of fun. Join us, won't you? Tickets on sale now, right now, like really right now. So that's all great. But the big news, of course, today, Starship Flight 12. Any minute, the live stream should begin. Let's see if reloading does anything. No, it begins in a half hour. Well, that's fine. That's fine. We can work with that. In the meantime, I did say that we have some news on what's going on. I went ahead and asked old Grockaroo Bob, what makes this flight different? Representing the most significant hardware overhaul since the program began. Yes, this is the first flight in nearly 7 months, launching from the new orbital launch pad 2, a vastly greater launch pad. The flame trench is amazing and a lot more traditional. The original plan to just leave it wide open and kind of hope for the best, that was more hoping and less of the best. It was terrible. It was very, very destructive and bad. So they went ahead and invented all new means of shock suppression and flame diversion. Those were better, not great. Let's just go back to the flame trench, shall we? New flame trench. So that's great. And the chopstick arms are shorter because the longer they are, the harder it is to control them. And they've realized we don't need those longer arms. We can do it with stubby chopsticks. Stubby chopsticks, probably my rap name. It incorporates extensive redesigns for improved performance, reliability, reusability, and in-space capabilities based on lessons learned from prior 11 flights. So the big one is we're finally going to see those Raptor 3 engines. They are beautiful. They are so simple. It's ridiculous. The old one, version 1, fantastic workhorse, amazing piece of kit. Looked like spaghetti, looked like engineering spaghetti. Second one, so much better, so much more simplified. And the third one, of course, looks like it's not even finished. It's finished. It works. How can you make it so much better? Well, there's a cost. And that cost is, if you were to build an engine like that and only use it once, it probably wouldn't make sense. But we're not going to use it once. We're going to use it dozens, perhaps hundreds of times. The added cost makes it worth it. And they're a ton lighter, literally each. They dropped 66,000 pounds from the weight of the Raptor engines. Motors, engines. This enables simultaneous, faster engine starts. So redesigned ignition, a lot less thermal protection gear. because it's all built for the purpose. So there's a larger fuel transfer tube. It's the thing in the middle, the tube that runs all the way down the inside of the fuel tank from the top part. That's nice. And three larger, stronger grid fins. Now, when I first heard this, I thought, oh, so you're going to go from a square layout, diamond layout to a triangle layout. Nope. We're just doing three sides of a square because the leeward one was in the wake of the ship. It wasn't getting much use anyway. We can control it with three. We're going down to three. And they also moved the motors and whatnot inside the fuel tank. Is that good? I don't know. Maybe. Integrated vent hot staging interstage. So the big ring that would pop off, fall to the ocean, then they go out and get it. Done with that. We're not doing that anymore. Have a real protective, no more disposable protective ring. It's just part of it. Simplified aft thermal protection and dual disconnects for redundancy and other mass/heat optimization. It's 10 times bigger than the Falcon 9, but fuels in the same amount of time. That's really impressive. Starship itself, larger propellant tanks, clean sheet propulsion design. Interesting. A better reaction control system, header tanks for longer and recirculation for longer coasts. Remember that movie, Apollo 11? Stir the oxygen tank? Maybe that's what they're talking about, is if it's going to be sitting for a long time, you don't want it to ice up so they can recirculate it better, I'm guessing. Upgraded flap actuators. Flappy's proven itself, but still, single actuator with 3 motors per flap for mass and redundancy, but also for mass savings. Mass is heavy, man. It's heavy. Enhanced Starlink PEZ dispenser for faster deployment. Added docking ports and drogues for future ship-to-ship propellant transfer. That's going to be wild. It's going to be crazy to see. And extensive camera Starlink connectivity. Remember when spaceships would have big, long periods of just being in the dark, don't know what's going on? But now we get to watch these flights from beginning to end seamlessly, powered by Starlink. And it's slightly taller. They added another 5 feet. When the first fully stacked Starship flew, it became the largest object ever flown. And every flight since then has broken that record. That's exciting stuff, man. It's exciting stuff. Hey, let's pop over to the chat, see what you guys are up to. Yeah. Waking up from a well-deserved nap. Hard-earned, David. Hard-earned. Are they going to catch it? I think the plan is to catch the booster. I do not believe the plan is to catch the Starship. I think the Starship will once again splash down in the Indian Ocean off the... No, it's landing somewhere different this time, isn't it? Yeah. Somebody correct me on that. Looking good. That's a good-looking spacecraft. So phallic standing there. Elon must be proud. Yeah, turns out there's one design for rockets that makes sense. So that's how that works. No catch planned for today. Disappointing. It's so beautiful when they do that. I'll be amazed if it flies today. So many new things that can go wrong. Yeah, there are a lot of things that can go wrong. I was pretty hopeful until the 30-minute delay. They only have a 90-minute launch window. It may not fly today. What is the payload? Presumably, dummy satellites once again. How is Hans doing? Haven't seen anything from him recently. He's got a venture he's working on, and I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. By the way, if there's anyone watching this, I could just stop there. If there's anyone watching this who would like to join the chat, join the conversation, let me know in the chat, and I can send you a link. Yeah. So this is exciting. This is a big day. There are only 2 things, famously, that can make me cry, and one is rocketry. I don't know why, just is. The other's baseball, but that doesn't mean I have undying loyalty to either. Huge Mariners fan until it was revealed that they were not interested in winning. They just wanted money. They had the second most expensive tickets in all of baseball and no commitment to win. It was only about monetization. And I get it. Monetization is key if it's a business you're running. But I'm not here to make you rich. I'm here to watch a great game. And you're making it impossible by selling off all the great players that you scouted. Terrible. Rockets, I don't know, man. Uh, it's some people feel called to the sea. I do not. I feel called to the sky. So rockets are, I don't know if you know this, ideally in the sky when in operation. Can you get me the stock price for September of 27? I will ask my magic 8 ball, but I'm pretty sure it says ask again later. I can. It'll be a number of dollars and a few cents. Okay, so we've got it locked in. It is a positive number, I'm assuming, and it ends with rounded to the nearest second decimal. Yeah, that's great. I feel called to the stars. I used to. I feel like I'm just too old for the stars now, man. Too old for the stars. Um, I grew up in the shuttle era. NASA would come to our school and show us cool stuff, ceramic tiles and you know, get us all excited. Feels like those days were short-lived. And the shuttle program really wasn't that big of a stretch. It was a compromise between a million competing parties, and the real objective was military and intelligence. It's got to be able to launch huge satellites so we can spy real good. And we did. But we can also spy real good on our distant neighbors on the other side of the galaxy, heck, the other side of the universe. Launched Hubble, little blurry, had to go up, see if you could actually grab a satellite and recover it. And that was Dr. George Nelson who did that. The commander? No, he wasn't the commander, but he was on the last mission before the Challenger explosion and the first mission after it. Pinky was then hired as the dean of astronomy at the University of Washington, and double dipped, got a professor salary as well. Taught astronomy 150 through the 90s. Heck of a guy. Let's see. Does the early worm get the bird? Maybe. Yeah, if the bird, you want to get to the bird before the coyotes find it. So I think so. Stars are older than you. I know. It's okay. Young by comparison. Yes, that's true. I never thought of measuring my lifespan on a galactic scale. That's something that will definitely haunt me. I appreciate the suggestion. Can't wait to see if the V3 heat shield holds up. It'll be nice for the hinge flaps to not get white hot. Yeah, it's impressive how well it held up, but it was clear that even though you could have recovered some of those early Starships, you could not have flown them again. Not without, I mean, really, just not again. I assume that the damage was so thorough that the surgery to repair it would be, would, it's totaled. You totaled it. So you can total a car and still walk away from it. But I imagine if you were an astronaut on a Starship that had flap burn through like that, you would just be recording voice notes for your survivors, because I don't think you're going to be looking about going home. When Betelgeuse goes nova, there will be a surge in astronomy. And of course, get your comments in early so we can have a chat. You guys can ask me anything. We're stuck in a hold. If you have any questions, gets to them. I will say that there is also, in addition to the summer meetup, I've got it here somewhere. I'm sure I do. I know I do. I just have to find it. The X Takeover. Here it is. There are about 130 tickets left. If this is something you are planning on doing on October 10th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at Giga Texas in Austin, now is the time to get the tickets. We know May Musk will be a speaker. More speakers will be announced. Hopefully I will be a speaker, but if not, I will still be there. And it's going to be, amazing. A lot of opportunities to meet the people you only know online. to meet content creators as well. It's a lot of fun. And if you, for some reason, are going to be in Austin but can't make it, maybe you are watching this and you've already missed out on tickets. There's always events going on in the days leading up to and often beyond it, um, because people are in town and they just want to celebrate. It's a lot of fun. What are you going to do? Except join us. Join us in Austin. And if you are just now checking in, welcome. And Tesla Owners of Michigan has their big event. Tickets on sale now, June 5th and 6th in Muskegon, Michigan at Heritage Landing Park. It's a beautiful venue. Might have some pictures. We don't. Not on this page. I'm on the wrong page. Let's see if this is the page. Here we go. Yeah, this is what Heritage Landing looks like. You can kind of see a ghost of it in the background. Big stage, nice stage. Everyone sits out here. We have a tent now so that you're not frying in the sun. And the event takes place rain or shine. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Simon doing the light show. Dirty Tesla, of course. Lots of good people. David Moss will fully self-drive himself to the event to join us on stage discussing this sort of thing. Interestingly, I could probably make this a smidge bigger. Yeah. All right, guys, what do you want to talk about? I should probably determine that. Best Tex-Mex in Austin? So I've never had bad food in Austin. I don't know. Maybe the competition is fierce. Maybe it's part of the local culture. But everywhere I've been has been good. So best, I would leave that to other commenters. I thought the shuttle was the first real spaceship. It was so disappointing when they canceled it and dropped the whole reuse thing. Maybe this time we'll make it. The whole idea was that it was supposed to be rapidly reusable. Launch it, use it, land it, relaunch it. But the refurbishment time in between was insane, problematic. So unfortunate. It did not meet, in my opinion, all of its target objectives, rapid reusability being the biggest one. It was supposed to be flying constantly. We had a bunch of them, but it never flew constantly. It flew periodically. It flew so infrequently that I knew people who didn't realize we had more than one, which is, yeah, fair. Hello from Canada. Caught my first live. Welcome to Despec Mining. Let's talk about the SpaceX IPO. I haven't been following it as closely. I've been busy with other things. It looks like it has been confirmed that Tesla shareholders will not get any special treatment. I always wondered how that would work because special treatment implies a lower than market price, and that would be a breach of fiduciary obligation to the shareholders of SpaceX who want the highest imaginable price. They want the most money coming in, whether that's coming in directly to the company or to other shareholders who would be selling. They want that. So I didn't know what the mechanics of it would be to just allow some people from a company that isn't SpaceX to get some advantage. If it's a thing that happens, I can see when the IPO happens, I can see a whole lot of people jumping on it because why wouldn't you? Do I have the spring update? And if so, I set my interior light strip to red. What happens when someone in the blind spot? Ooh, that's a great question. I have the spring update on the Model Y. The Model Y does not have ambient lighting. I do not have the spring update on the Model 3. So I can't answer that question. But I imagine if you had the ambient lighting set to red, maybe it would blink at you. I don't know. That's a great question. I think it would just do nothing. I think you would just not see it. Or we can talk about a SpaceX conspiracy. I'm not a fan of conspiracies. There are real life conspiracies, but they're rare. And somehow those never get as much attention as the ones that make no sense at all. So that's fun. I'm going to just refresh this screen to see if, yeah. Really? So it looks like we have been bumped to 3:43, fully 1 hour later than expected. I'm hoping I can still be here when this kicks off. TBD, to be determined, because that's another delay. That's another setback. This still image might as well be a video, except that the clouds aren't moving. But if we're doing conspiracies, maybe clouds aren't real. You know, it's like one big chemtrail. Good stuff. My question for so many conspiracies is, but why? Flat earthers, which I'm told still exist in some serious way. I don't know if that's true. Love to say, oh, this is how they do it. This is how you address this one tiny thing. And I say, but why? Well, that's big conspiracy. Everyone's in on. Why? Why? If the world was flat, what did the people in on the conspiracy get out of it? Well, power and control. What? What are you talking? That doesn't control of what? When does their window close? It's a 90-minute window. So this might be the close of it. Let's see. I think that would be the close of the window. If it doesn't launch, then we would see a scrub, is my guess. If not, the most it would be is another like, yeah. Yeah. So I've got this one horsefly in my office, and I do not understand. Either I have genetically engineered a horsefly to stay alive for a week instead of a day, or this place is really attractive, but only to one horsefly at a time. I've got a zapper, but I don't have enough space to swing it. And so it's very frustrating. Let's see. Yeah, it's a big cover up, man. So when does the window close? It was a 90-minute window. So we shall see. Yeah, we shall see. This was just a fun post I wanted to show. This is Ellie saying, never ending stream of tanker trucks. I've just kind of had this in the background for a while, just kind of rolling through. From Joe Tebmeyer as well. Give it a heart. Hey, if you're watching this video, you can give it a heart. You can absolutely do that. No one will stop you. So, yeah, that's what we're up to. This chat isn't recorded, is it? Yes, it is. But how did I know you would ask that? I don't get the hose joke. One hose town, one hose fly. I don't get it. I don't get it. Maybe when I'm older, I'll understand. Let's see. Horse. One horse town. One horse fly. Makes more sense. Makes more sense. So what would you guys like to talk about during our time together? We have another 40 minutes until the actual thing goes live. Other than Michigan, I can tell you that I'm going to be in Longview, Washington at the Go Forth Festival, 2nd, 3rd, and 4th of July. We will be running an information booth about EVs through the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. I'll be there most of those 3 days, most of them. I do have volunteers coming to help carry some of the load, but it's a lot of fun. Join us, won't you? There'll be live music. There'll be 100 booths. There'll be more than a dozen food trucks. There's the, what do you call it? The lumberjack competition taking place at the north end of the lake. There'll be live music every day. There'll be fireworks on the 4th of July. There's a parade on typically the morning of the 2nd, I think, that rolls right along the lake. It's beautiful. It's a lot of fun. I don't miss it. I mean, I miss it from last year, but I haven't missed it. We don't choose to miss it intentionally. When is super heavy? What do you mean? Do you mean this flight that we're covering today would be in 40 minutes, and a little under 40 minutes, and 38 minutes, the SpaceX live stream would be going live. And then the flight would be some minutes after that. Would have loved the Falcon 9 landing on its tail. I don't know what he would have made of the chopstick catches. Oh, Heinlein would have loved the Falcon 9 landing on its tail. You know, it's crazy when you think about it. If you were talking landing rockets, I wouldn't have come up with the chopsticks, but it makes sense. you can control its not just its position on the ground, but of course you have to control its position in the space above it. Why not just use the space above it to do the landing? Aha, interesting. So crazy. Hello from Aberdeen, Scotland. Welcome, Jimbo. Good to have you here. The new ship. If you mean this one here, any minute, and by any minute, I mean maybe around 3:50 p.m. Pacific, 5:50 p.m. Central, 6:50 p.m. Eastern is what they're targeting. So that's coming up. Yeah. And there is an article I saw yesterday. There's a company in Europe that says we've got a ship that's going to be even more efficient than Starship. It's going to lift at a better cost per ton and be reusable. And I think, are you? I would love to see that. Please. This is the latest version. This is the V3. You can tell because I don't know if I can get any closer on it. I can't. Because the interstage looks like cross hatching rather than a ring, rather than the solid ring that was there before. So, that makes it pretty exciting. This has the V3 Raptor engines, the more efficient, lighter weight, less heat shielding versions of the rocket engines on it. There is a lot of new stuff being tested on this build. If this can meet all of its mission objectives, then I think perhaps this year we will see payload delivered using Starship. Possible. If this has some significant failures, it could delay the program. Worth noting that they're only a few $1 billion into this program. Someone said, big deal. The NASA got people to the moon in 1969. That's a much bigger mission. Is right? But that cost $1/3 trillion in today's money. That program, not adjusted for inflation, cost more than Starship without the adjustment. So this is a much leaner, meaner, more efficient machine. Oh, but they just took all the research NASA did and used it. You think they're using 60-year-old rocket technology in this thing? I don't know what to tell you, but they're not. That's not how that works. NASA chose to open source a number of their old designs, their patents, so that others could learn from them, so that others could have an easier path to the stars. The physics hasn't changed, but materials have changed. Materials have improved. Material sciences have developed, have advanced since the 1960s. And computer modeling has done a lot of great work too. The ability to land a rocket autonomously probably didn't exist in terms of compute power in the 1960s. If you want a fun one, you should look up the old analog cruise missiles, because you open them and it's full of tubes and wires. It's so analog, you wouldn't believe it. It's just a mess. You think, okay, I understand why those cost a fortune. Modern ones, I'm not quite as sure why they cost so much. It's pretty outrageous. Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome. I think he meant, when will there be a version of Starship with 3 boosters like Falcon Heavy? Oh my gosh. Oh, a Starship Heavy? Wow. I think the answer to that is never. I don't think you could maintain the structural integrity to do that. I don't think. So I don't know. And the real issue becomes, how heavy is your payload? It's not like you're just going to slap a bigger fairing on. The weight is the issue. On my way to the Tesla diner, I wonder if they'll stream the launch. Oh, they will. They have to, right? I watched the launch in Florida this morning. Always amazing. Elon creates magic, pure magic. Yeah. And this is the kind of science that kind of looks like magic, doesn't it? At least to me. Okay. So what else should we talk about? We've got another 33 minutes until the live stream is scheduled to start. If it does for some reason scrub and you hear it somewhere else, certainly let me know. 3:43 p.m. Pacific is when we're expecting it. That's in 33 minutes. Yeah. Why don't they even put even little tiny wings on the booster to extend its ability to return to base? Wings wings wouldn't help. Wings wouldn't help. They'd create more drag than they would benefit on the return trip. And for a lot of that trip, they're in very thin atmosphere where wings would be of minimal use anyhow. Um, but I don't think I'm sure they've considered the possibility and just decided against it. The real benefit, the real reason they're able to do the boost back burn is because the rocket weighs a fraction of what it did when it left the Earth. So the amount of energy it takes to get kicked all the way back to the launch site is minimal. You're no longer carrying the payload, for one thing, the whole top half of whichever ship it is, Falcon 9, Falcon Heavy, or Starship. Uh, but also, you're not carrying all that fuel and oxidizer. Makes it a lot less mass to move around. Uh, so, and I just think that the added drag, the added stress, and if the wings are lightweight, they'd be subject to burning. I don't know. Uh, I mean, I guess maybe the better question is why does Starship have wings at all? Hmm. I'm sure they have it's to control the belly flop maneuver, but why have a belly flop? Hmm. I don't know the answer to that. Vacuum tubes are impervious to EMPs from nukes. But if we get to that point, cruise missiles are kind of irrelevant anyway. Are transistors uniquely vulnerable in ways that tubes are not? I did not know. Someone fact check David. Fact check him. That would be an interesting thing to consider. Why don't they put? Oh yeah, we already answered that. Mm-hmm. Uh, more questions are welcome. If anyone is watching this and thinks that they can do a better job than me, message me, leave a chat here. I may send you an invite to join me, and we'll find out if we can make magic even better together. For those new to the channel, I'm Brian. This is Futuraza, and I make videos about a variety of things, factories mostly, technology mostly, but also about the individual cars and companies. I've covered 100 different cars all across North America, Europe, and Asia. I've driven in China. I have a license to drive in China. I have not been a fan of doing that. It is very stressful, but I can do it for work. Ken is here from Canada. I have been to Canada. Not in the last year or two, though. Last one was for a everything electric show, fully charged. That was in Vancouver, year and a half ago. A lot of fun. Lovely, lovely city. Very expensive, eye-wateringly expensive. So that's, what are you going to do? I cover factories quite well. I tour factories. I get inside views of factories. I get to talk to engineers. And when I travel the country and the world, my real objective is to meet with engineers from all kinds of different disciplines to broaden my understanding of what it is that we're talking about. So I get to talk about chemistry, and I get to talk about physics, and I get to talk about manufacturing, and I love doing it. Does a U.S. license work in China for visitors? No, it does not. You need to have it a notarized translation made, and then you need to go and fill out a bunch of paperwork, watch a safety video, and then you get a temporary driving permit that lasts only as long as your visa is good for, and usually not even then. I think I have a 5-year visa, and my permit is for 1 year. So there are a lot of moving pieces. If you don't have someone to walk you through them, it can be prohibitive. And someone said you might even need a local sponsor who is willing to help you do it. I don't know if they put their name on it or how that works, but everyone I know who has gotten one did so as a guest of a particular motor company, some motor company or other. I'm not sure how Kyle Connor got his. It may have been just through friends who were in China, but it may have been one of the car companies helped him get it. So, yeah. U.S. driver's license can work in a lot of countries, though. I've driven in Mexico, and Canada, obviously, but um, in Mexico, I drove a BYD Seal. That was eye-opening. It was a very good car. It was not as good as a Tesla, but it was a third cheaper, which is concerning. It's concerning if you are looking at value. And the Seal just keeps getting better. All cars keep getting better, hopefully. I will tell you, I am worried about Stellantis. Stellantis in the US is struggling because they've got some big dumb ideas. They've got local talent that are not emboldened and permitted to rise to the occasion. No, you're going to build what we tell you to build, and we're in Europe, so we're going to tell you what Americans like. And Americans like big dumb cars, right? So we're going to give you the electric Challenger. We're going to give you the Wagoneer S. Those are big dumb cars. The problem is they're more dumb than anything else. And as a result, people don't like them. Well, let's put in a bigger battery, give it more horsepower with no way to transfer that torque into actual forward movement. Worthless. Very dumb. I've never spent much time in China, but driving in other Asian countries is fun. It's a bit like a video game, though. Can be. Definitely requires more attention. There are countries where it is quite easy to drive. I don't think any of them are in Asia. Singapore might be civilized in terms of the road. In terms of civilized roads, parts of Europe, most of Europe, very civilized, but old towns, town centers, I don't know. I feel like you'd need but I guess I would say that's also true. I wouldn't call New York City, Manhattan driving civilized. I'd call it organized chaos. I would not be super jazzed about driving in Manhattan. I would do it if it was for a video or something, or I had some legitimate reason. But mass transit works so well in those places that I would avoid it because there, the mass transit is civilized and the roads are chaos versus in the suburbs where mass transit is hard to find, it's scarce, and the driving is very easy. Manila is fun. I've never been to Manila, but I can imagine driving in a big city like that. Always, always a challenge. Always something to keep you on your toes. Checking again on this part of it, we still see a scheduled start time of 3:43. So 25 minutes. What shall we talk about? Is that not showing? What the heck? Darn it. Very weird. There we go. Now it should show. There it is. So yeah, we got that. 3:43 p.m. Yeah, not too long now. We can make it if we try. What are you thinking? The Tesla semi production ramp looks like the end of this year and next. I will discuss that next week. Yeah, but slow is the short answer. In terms of this ship, you can see the new flame diverter trench. You can see this looks very different than the, I don't know, the legged version that they had before with water spraying out from the ground. This is a more traditional sort of thing. It's got big pipes that water flows through and comes out of everywhere all the time. It's very fun. Yeah. So let's see. Oh, Legacy Auto is just lost, is what we've got here in this comment. Legacy Auto is lost. I'm wondering how long it will take. This is a question I get a lot. How much longer can they make it? And the answer is a long time, longer than you think, especially if they decide to retreat to their shores. At one point, GM was one of the world's biggest car makers. They sold cars all over the world. Those international markets are closing one by one. They would love to take old factories, package them up, and ship them to places like China. Nissan would do the same thing. In 2000-ish, 2001, every taxi I rode in China was like a Nissan Sentra, but not the current Nissan Sentra, the previous one. When they came out with the new one, they package up all the tooling, send it to China, and build a rickety version of it, a lower cost version of it. All the equipment's already amortized. It's free equipment. Make a garbage version of this. China doesn't settle for that anymore. You don't send over your old tooling. You give them something new and better, unique, something they actually want, something that market actually cares for. So they don't have to, uh, they don't get to save that money. They don't get that second use out of their equipment. Got to build it from scratch. China's very demanding. Buick remains quite strong in China. If you look at the Buicks made in China, you'll notice they're not Buicks. Those are Chinese cars with Buick badges. There's nothing Buick about them. And even if you look at GM's electric cars, the Chinese ones, the Buicks specifically, have nothing in common with them. They don't use the same batteries. They don't use the same frames. They don't have the same footprint in terms of wheelbase or width. They don't use the same user interface. The motors are different. Everything is, the design is different. The aesthetic is different. Driving it is different. Every single part of it. It is a Chinese car with a Buick label. Does Buick make some money off that? I guess probably a little bit, not much. It does mitigate risk. Hard to go broke when it's just your name and not your actual product. But licensing your name will only get you so far. And when the buyers in China realize this isn't really Buick, they'll buy whatever it actually is instead. So that's what we're likely to see in the US. The US market for big, dumb dyno burners is probably going to remain in place for at least 10 years, perhaps even 20. During that time, hopefully these companies can get a little bit smarter. Circling back to Stellantis, we can say that the Wagoneer and the Charger, both dumb cars. But Stellantis in Europe is moving forward with their EV ambitions. They have to. You can't just retreat to the EU market and sell gasoline-powered cars. It doesn't work. You have to make whatever that market sells. In Europe, that's electric vehicles. The mandate is still in place for 2035. Got 8.5 years. You can do it. It's going to be painful, but you can do it. And they are doing it now. So hopefully they'll have enough time to make money on their big dumb dyno burners that they can then get smart and make quality EVs. So that's, I don't get why they don't adopt Tesla's philosophy to compete. You have legacy issues, but they're looking at extinction. Surely they could pull it off. Yeah. The problem, which part of Tesla's approach? The problem is Tesla's approach is from the ground up, an entirely new philosophy. The idea of constant iteration, the idea of empowering every employee to rise to the level of their natural talents is scary and difficult. And how does our management team deal with that? You look at the NUMMI plan, Toyota, GM, joint venture. Toyota said, look, this is how you build a car. This is how you do it. The number of flaws goes way down. The efficiency goes way up. The problems start to disappear. GM said, wow, that's great. We should do that in all of our plants. Nah, they just didn't. Why didn't GM follow in those footsteps? They just didn't. So that's tricky. I don't know how you fix something that's that broken. It's rotted to the core, is my concern. Do you think that individuals are really going to be able to add their cars to the robotaxi fleet? I don't know. Talk about it next week. How are towns going to feel? I don't know. We'll talk about Tesla stuff next week. Which car company gets bought by Google for data collection? That's interesting. I don't know if they're going to need to. I think they've got enough vehicles on the road with enough sensors that they might be able to get away without needing the 10 billion miles. And I think they could potentially do it. The trick with buying a company, I've seen people say, Apple should buy Lucid or Google should buy Lucid. And I disagree. It's not the $2 billion market cap that gets you. It's like buying any used luxury car. The purchase price isn't what kills you. It's the upkeep. They're losing so much money that Lucid is, if you gave me the company for free, I'd still be broke. I'd be broker than I am today. So I don't know who would want that. And of course, Lucid, they're just not making enough cars. It is believed that their new Cosmos vehicle could save them if the price is right and the margin exists. That's a lot of conditional clauses there. Possible, but difficult. Uh, and right now, it's just a money burning machine, an efficient money burning machine. They burn money like no one in history apart from perhaps Rivian. Rivian, oh, they stoke the flames with fresh $100 bills by the minute. It's amazing. I'm hopeful that the R2 can save them, but there's a bunch of ifs. Rivian has a much clearer path to success than Lucid, but I don't really have many conversations with important people at either company. So who knows? I certainly don't have inside information on either of those companies, but you don't need inside information to read the financials, and they are scary. So I don't know that Google would need to. I think, and I don't know that it would necessarily be helpful because Waymo is trying to get into all the international markets, and you need that data collection everywhere. There's only a handful of companies that could do it. And the real trick then is, well, now we've got to kit up the cars with sensors and cameras and everything so that the data gathered is meaningful. So I think they've got a weirdly uphill battle about that. Uh, yeah. The proposed exports to Canada make sense. Yeah. There are Mm, Nissan has dealers throughout Canada. Nissan is looking to bring in their Chinese-made EVs. Now they're, again, barely Nissans. They're really Nissan branded cars made by China, but they could sell those at the dealerships. Why not? So Nissan has a chance of getting cars in as well. Um, and they could pounce quickly. BYD is looking to open some shops, sales and service centers, but that takes time. No matter how aggressive you wish to be, it takes time. If we take a look over here, we'll see we are still on hold for another 15 minutes. 15 minutes. I think we can survive that. If it gets bumped again, it uh, may be scrapped at that point. It may be scrubbed for the day. Um, you know, hopefully. I would like it to be a regular scrub rather than an exfoliating one. Lucid, which is how, of course, uh, what was his name? Oh, man. Um, the former CEO, Peter Rawlinson said it. Lucid. Very sad. Such a good car is made by such a poorly run company. Is it a good car? They started as a Formula E race car builder. When you have one objective, performance above all else, does that translate into a manufacturable product? Yeah, they have a lightweight motor. That only helps if it's cost efficient and doesn't break. If it's a car that you're going to race, it doesn't matter how reliable it is. You only need to get through one race. Okay, maybe one season of race. But when it's a consumer facing product, you need to build that thing in a way that allows it to be repaired. You need to build it in a way where the individual components don't cost so much that there's no way on earth you could sell it at a profit. If you want to optimize performance over everything else, get a Rimac. I've never seen one of those with more than a few thousand miles on it because you don't drive that car every day. Could that car even make it to the end of its warranty period? Unknown, unclear, and probably irrelevant because the people buying it for $1.5 million, $2 million don't seem to mind that problem. So there's a balance. The Model 3, the Model Y, these are not the best motors in the world. They're not meant to be. They're meant to be the most cost effective and efficient for the purpose that we want them to be. That's the goal. And that's why China's market segmentation has been so successful is they're able to grab people who want the $1 million, $500,000 BYD hypercar or the tricked out Range Rover alternative, but also get people who just want to get to work nearby for $8,000, $5,000. They can do that. So I don't know. Like birds, legacy EVs are a psyop. So I did make a joke yesterday or today on Herbert's channel about I've never seen a baby pigeon. That is, of course, a talking point from the birds aren't real conspiracy theory, which was a social experiment, not a real conspiracy. He had to call it off when people were believing him because humans can believe all kinds of crazy things if we want to, even if we don't want to. Uh, Legacy EVs are a psyop. Maybe. I believe that. I believe there's an element of truth to that. If we make them too good, people will buy them. When you look at Electrify America's terrible, terrible early years of charging, it's because their objective wasn't to make charging good. It was to deploy a certain number of handles as required by the settlement for Dieselgate. No one said the chargers had to be good. We just had to build them and get them out there. They did. And then they realized, okay, the term has expired. Let's sell this company. And nobody would touch it because it was garbage. Because all you did was put a was take a dump in a box and mark guaranteed. Doesn't help. So what they did at that point is start trying to make a good network, and it's really hard to dig yourself out of that hole, especially reputation wise. Other charging companies have much better reputations. Even if Electrify America is improved, there are a lot of people who will never know because of those terrible early days. So I believe there's a nugget of truth to the fact that legacy companies don't want to sell EVs. It's definitely true that car dealerships don't want to sell them because there's good money in bad repairs. Maintenance costs a fortune. Now, I didn't believe that. I thought that was a conspiracy theory. I got to have dinner with a former GM sales manager, and he told me, oh, it is 100% true. We do not like selling EVs because we can't trick people into buying our maintenance packages, our not very valuable maintenance packages. And when the warranty expires and it's time to get the car fixed, those repairs are expensive. But electric cars only have a few different ways to fail. So I've seen people, I've, I've known people who've had 300, 400,000 mile cars that are still on their first battery, their first motor. 200 in the under 300 is a lot more common, but crazy. There's a huge charger at the library in Ashburn, North Carolina. Software doesn't work. Spot on. It's frustrating. That's frustrating. Love from Portugal. Thank you, Daniel. Any news on the Slate front? So I looked into Slate a few days ago to see what's up, where they're at, and it looks like they are. June is when we've been told to expect pricing and probably see something. From what I can gather from people I know, they are still moving forward. They are still putting all of their equipment together and getting everything ready to actually enter production. Makes me hopeful. I hope they can actually get to production, and I hope they're able to do so in a way that allows them to actually sell the truck at a reasonable price. There are a lot of misconceptions about the truck. The CEO, I think, or one of the engineers was asked, are you really saving money by putting in crank handles? And he admitted, no, that doesn't save money. That saved money back when electric motors were expensive. Electric motors are a commodity. They're very cheap now. And especially if you're going to build a door capable of handling either one, you're doing twice the engineering anyway. You've actually lost money. So, I just don't want a car that's a computer. My friend, it's still a computer. It is absolutely 100% a computer you are driving. It's got a battery management system. It's got all the time. Well, yeah, but it doesn't have an infotainment screen. Yes, it does. It's got a backup camera. By law, it must. It's required. So you got the backup and forward collision warning, forward collision mitigation. All that's computers, my friend. So, it could be less computer. If you want a car that's less computer, that's something you can do, but it's not going to introduce the world of cost savings that a lot of people seem to think. The reason modern cars are expensive isn't because of all the computer aspects, it's because of all the safety. Do you know how safe a modern car is compared to 50 years ago? Good gravy. On YouTube, you can find a video, I think it was the Insurance Institute, that crashed a new Malibu into an old Malibu head on, not head on, small overlap. And it was the much, much bigger car, you're thinking, oh, it's going to eat that thing alive. It didn't. It was terrifying to see how poorly this giant heavy boat from the 60s performed compared to a modern car. And it might not have been a Malibu, but you can find it on YouTube. It's terrifying and a lot of fun. Long Island Railroad went on strike. It was so nice and quiet over the weekend. I was hoping Elon would send 50,000 robo-taxis with train wheels. That'd be hilarious. It'd be hilarious. Robo-taxis can be used in all kinds of emergency situations. If you've got a forest fire, why not use robo-taxis to run in and out the supplies, the water, the radio stuff? Be a lot safer than sending humans in, more reliable, a little more melty perhaps with those polycarbonate body panels, but can replace those in ways you can't replace a human. And if it's hot enough to melt the plastic, it would have been hot enough to fry your paint anyway. I'm going to just hit reload over here, make sure we are not missing anything. Still scheduled 6 minutes out. Can we make it? Possibly. No one knows. It is beyond science to know if the linear progression of time will continue at its current pace, but I am hopeful. I am hopeful about that. I do need to check and see. Okay, well, I've sent a message regarding my Zoom chat scheduled at 4. It's going to be bumped because everyone who would be in that Zoom chat is probably going to be watching the launch. And now, of course, my email doesn't feel like loading, but that's okay too. Anything you guys would like to chat about? Airbags are overpriced. I'm just going to fill my next car with beanbag chairs. Love it. You should definitely do that. They are much more affordable than airbags. I think you should get on that. And I don't even think you should wait. I think you should replace all safety features in your vehicle and home and office with beanbag chairs. Because I'll double check my email on my phone because it's important that I be available to the meetings that I have committed to. What meeting is that, you ask? I know you did, so I shall tell you. It is one of the final planning meetings for the Michigan Summer Meetup in Muskegon, June 5th and 6th. Join us. Will you not? Will you join us? Can't you? Bunch of great speakers. Big old light show on Friday. Meet and greet, where you can hang out with me and some of these fine folks the night before on Friday. Special, while people are setting up the light show, we will be meeting and greeting in the meet and greet tent. And all those proceeds go to help pay for the event, because the event is not making money. The event is losing money. And it would be great if we could lose it in smaller numbers, and less volume of losing would be helpful, because we want this event to be sustainable. And when you lose money, it's unsustainable. David pointed out that I mispronounced Muskegon. The city council or the planning, somebody in the city years ago had given Kelly permission to say, yes, for the day of your event, the city is called Muskegon. It's spelled the same way, but if you guys pronounce it that way, you are allowed to. So that's great. Brian's a very caring fellow. Yes, but Michigan are my peeps. They are a club that's been very active in outreach and putting events together. They sponsor Adopt a Charger, a program where volunteers go out and just clean up superchargers, because someone's got to do it. And a lot of times the businesses don't have the manpower to dedicate to something like that, which is, frustrating in its own way. So, and they're great people. Give them love. Love them on my behalf. Thanks for carrying this. Let's see. Guys, we are down to 3 minutes until this stream is scheduled to begin. Let's see if we can do it. Appreciate your semi coverage. I was on Randy's show talking about how important it is to manufacturing. Yeah. Everything you manufacture has a cost. Getting that item from where it's created to the factory and then the factory to the consumer is transportation. It's very unlikely that any leg of that journey doesn't at some point have a semi-truck. But even if it's using trains or planes, energy is largely fungible. Lower energy costs, lower transport costs can lower costs. It can also increase margins. It can do both at the same time or one or the other. All all true. 60, 90, 120 seconds, probably 100 seconds now that I paused and fumbled until this live stream is scheduled to go. Guess I'll show that. Looks like this. Turn this back on and hit refresh because why not? Make sure. Yeah. Scheduled for a minute and a half from now. Okay. We've got word that prop load. Go for prop load. Oh, so that means we're 30 minutes still from the actual launch. Because it takes about 30 minutes to load the propellant. That's okay. I just found out. What? What'd you just find out, Joe? I'm not seeing a previous comment that would lead me to believe. Just found out what? That I'm here? Where do you think I am? I'm always here. Just that usually the camera's off. I still look forward and talk just like this. I don't, but that would be mental and hilarious. For those who don't know, I can pull something else up for July. Haven't told anybody. There we go. Is let's see. Let me find it. Boy, this is really navigable. Let me share this tab. July 10th through the 26th, 3 bandits and a baby. Yeah, I'm going to be in that. I'm playing the sheriff. Heading to the rollicking Old West with Gary McCarver's 3 Bandits and a Baby, a musical melodrama that brings audiences right back to the beloved town of San Juan Capistrano. Gamblers, rainmakers, fortune tellers, and 3 dastardly bandits stirring up mischief. July 10th through 26th. Join me, won't you? It'll be my second production on stage since the early 90s. Did a lot of theater in high school. That, I'm sure, comes as a surprise to precisely no one. Let's see how we're doing here. I click on this. Is it going? Is it go time? Should I unmute it? That's nice and loud. Definitely copyright music. They always ding us with the copyright music. Would you, could you, pretty please don't do that. Does this work if I do this? Yeah, that's slick. Move this to wide. Nope. That makes it weird. Regular. Tall. That's not too bad. Okay. So this is what we're up to. Is there will be live footage of Mars. It's not what it is. It's definitely not live footage. Interesting that it appears to be on also like a 60-degree inclination. You can see the aurora borealis. I don't know what you call the northern lights on Mars. Probably has a different name. 23,000 people viewing, plus 600 and whatever here. That might be a cumulative number. How many viewers are we up to? Let us know that. And if they cut in with some chitty chat, we'll know. Let's see. David says, I would love to see you on stage. Where is it? I kind of make it so I can see it. Let's see. Lunchtime now. Just ate dinner. Joe said it's a quicker launch schedule than previous. And just found out about the live stream. Sorry I'm late. You're not late. You missed nothing. We were just chitty chatting. Must be in the wrong time zone. Breaking news. Talented. Surprised me. TBD. Fun times. I would love to see you on stage. Won't visit the USA for a while, though. Well, it happens. Been busy, running most of the day. I'll allow it. You're awesome. I would love to watch you perform on stage. Long way from Panama, but we will catch you sometime. Yeah. Never been to Panama. I imagine Most people you meet online say the same thing. Uh-huh. How can you learn improv in New Jersey? It's difficult because everything I've learned in New Jersey, I managed to forget about it. Uh, as I understand, if they have added many more cameras. Interesting. Yeah, I think there would be a benefit to having additional flappy cameras. Those are the really only ones I would need. Why would anyone join that stream when they could be here? Right? Right? I mean, come on. Let's see if they're chatting yet, because this looks like it might be chat time.
And we are just over 43 minutes away from the first flight of SpaceX's next generation vehicle, Starship version 3. I'm Kate Tice, Senior Manager of Quality Systems Engineering.
And I'm Jake Berkowitz, a lead propulsion engineer. And today we're coming to you live from just outside the production floor at Star Factory, where the team's preparing for Starship's 12th test flight.
Yeah, it's been a few months since our last update, and in that time, the team has been working hard to completely redesign the entire rocket that you see there from the ground up.
Yeah, that's right, Kate. Starship version 3 has undergone significant upgrades, taking everything we've learned from the previous 11 flights to make a vehicle capable of full and rapid reusability.
This includes everything from a new booster, new ship, new engines, to a new launch pad, new avionics, new software, and so much more. All of that hardware is just down the road at Pad 2, a little over a mile and a half away from Jake and myself. And over in our viewing area outside on the lawn, Starbase employees are excited and already starting to gather to watch today's flight.
Yeah, and right behind us are 3 generations of Raptor engines, and today will be the first flight of the newest generation, Raptor V3. And the 33 Raptors on Super Heavy Booster combined to generate 18 million pounds of thrust. You can see them all there.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. And it makes Starship by far the most powerful rocket of all time. And for comparison, we have over twice the thrust of the Saturn V rocket that carried astronauts to the moon. And then here, of course, you can see on ship, we have another 6 engines, and 3 of them feature the larger vacuum-optimized nozzles called RVACs. And as a member of the Raptor team, I can tell you that we're all incredibly excited to put V3 to the test today and demonstrate the capabilities of our most advanced engine. And we'll get into all the exciting new details in just a few moments.
Yeah, that excitement is well warranted, Jake. Raptor and Starship V3 are designed to be foundational for the future of the program. They're designed to enable us to send payloads and eventually people all the way to the moon and Mars, ultimately helping us make life multiplanetary and extending the light of consciousness to the stars.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we're planning to put Starship to work shortly by launching bigger and more powerful Starlink version 3 satellites. These new satellites aim to substantially increase capacity in orbit, strengthen the network, and deliver an improved experience for customers on Earth. Starship will also carry our upcoming V2 Starlink mobile satellites, which are expected to provide direct 5G connectivity from space straight to mobile phones worldwide.
Now, as a reminder for all of you watching at home, what we're doing today is a test. Like we mentioned earlier, we've redesigned the majority of this rocket and its systems. From the outside, for those of you that have tuned in before, it might look pretty familiar, but beneath the surface, it's all new. And the primary objective today is to put it all together in a real live flight environment. In order to learn, we got to launch.
Yeah, and really it's the data we're expecting to get back from today's flight that's going to bring us closer to making Starship operational and unlocking the next generation of our future in space. So no matter the outcome of today's test flight, excitement is guaranteed.
Most definitely. And speaking of excitement, Dan Hewitt is in a pretty exciting place. He's stationed just outside of the Launch Control Center, a couple floors above us. How's it going up there, Dan?
Kate, it couldn't be going better. We have a blue sky outside. I'm beyond psyched. Hello, everybody. I'm Dan Hewitt with SpaceX Communications. It's been far too long. Welcome back for another Starship launch. Things are looking good. We are counting down. We moved into our window a little bit, but we are looking good right now at this moment. Behind me, you see the flight control team, they're on console, looking at the rocket, the pad, the range, the weather, everything as we count down to liftoff. We're going to be getting into prop load in just a couple of minutes, and we are counting down to a liftoff at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. The weather is great. We haven't had a blue sky all day. There you can see almost nothing but that. We were fighting some upper level winds a little bit earlier. That's why we moved into our launch window. But the great news is we are looking go for launch. Also, we're monitoring the range, so air and sea space out in the Gulf and also in the Indian Ocean on the other side of the world, not tracking any issues there. Now, today's countdown functionally going to look pretty similar to most people. There's a couple of differences in timing for some of those major milestones, like when we start loading propellant, when the diverter turns on and the water's flowing, when the engines start up. But otherwise, other than that, all of the hardware brand new. New booster, new ship, new engines, new pad. Let's nerd out. Let's dive right into it. So there it is on the pad. Say hello to Starship version 3. As Kate noted, some of the outside might look familiar, but we've made extensive upgrades across every single system. Start with the big picture because Starship still very, very big. Just over 407 feet tall, fully stacked, a little bit taller than version 2. With that extra stretch, we can carry even more propellant, but big rocket. The bottom half is our super heavy booster. And there are some pretty visible structural changes on the outside. We'll jump in. You've got version 3 on the left there, version 2 on the right. At the very top, we've changed from a one-time use hot stage adapter that used to pop off to one that's fully integrated for reusability. And Starship's Raptors are actually going to be igniting directly on top of the booster's fuel tank. The fuel tank pressure itself and then a non-structural layer of steel, it's what's protecting the top of that booster when we do hot stage separation. Moving down a little bit, we went from 4 grid fins to 3. We made them 50% bigger and higher strength. Just a reminder, that's what booster is using to kind of steer itself as it's flying back for a catch. We're also now going to use those grid fins for lift and catch itself. We zoom in a little bit and you can see new catch points now on those grid fin structures. Moving inside the rocket, we redesigned the fuel transfer tube. This is the really big tube inside the rocket that's moving all of that liquid methane down to the Super Heavy's 33 Raptor engines. It's going to help us flip faster, and we can now start up all of the engines simultaneously. This thing is big. It's about the size of a Falcon 9 first stage, which gives us the fun realization that we kind of put a rocket inside of our rocket. The very bottom of the booster looks very different. You've got those new Raptor 3 engines that enabled us to delete the bulky heat shields, the engine shrouds that we had on the previous generation. And then all of the propulsion, avionics hardware for those engines are super tightly integrated now and protected by much slimmer shielding. Move on up, second stage. This version of Starship is designed to carry massive orbital payloads. We're talking up to 100 metric tons to Earth orbit, the moon, and Mars. The biggest changes are pretty much all under the hood. We gave the propulsion system a clean sheet redesign, increased the propellant tank volume, and improved our reaction control system, our steering while we're on orbit. When we X-ray inside, the PEZ dispenser is now supercharged, a little bit of turbo, and that's going to allow us to increase the deploy speed for each of those satellites. Today, we're actually flying the heaviest payload we've ever carried on Starship, but eventually we're going to launch with up to 60 of those Starlink V3 satellites. Just below that, just below the payload bay near, and also down on the aft part of the ship, we've added new docking ports. That's going to enable us to link up in orbit between 2 starships, do propellant transfer. We also modified that main connection point where we load propellants into the vehicle for those future prop transfer missions. So a lot of upgrades tip to tail on the rocket, but powering everything, the Raptor 3. There they are, ripping in real time. These engines manufactured in Hawthorne, California, tested at our site up in McGregor. We redesigned their entire ignition system. We bumped up the thrust, so putting out more force, went from 230 to 250 tons force on those sea-level engines, 258 all the way up to 275 on the vacuum-optimized ones. When you look at all of the generations of Raptor lined up, all of those fiddly bits, the sensors, feed lines, controllers, everything that you were used to seeing around Raptor 1 and 2, a lot of those have either been deleted, best part is no port, or they're internally integrated and protected inside of the engine itself. That'll let us dramatically cut down on the weight of the engine, make it easier to manufacture because we are going to be mass producing these things. Now, we make these Raptors in Hawthorne. There's our Hawthorne manufacturing team getting ready to see their engines fly in space for the very first time. Huge shout out to you guys. You're all wizards. Appreciate you getting us some vehicles on the pad today. But incredible amount of effort. World's best engineering team works here at SpaceX. Get this rocket to that pad ready to launch. And we've been trying to follow more of it and document some of it. And if you haven't seen it, check out our new docu-series, Starship.
We've really, built this rocket from scratch, but we've also built the pad from scratch. So it's all kinds of new systems. This will be the first time that we bring together the pad and vehicle pieces to make sure that they all work.
The static fire vehicle is in pre-pad clear, about to get to our static fire pad clear top state.
We run 60 seconds on ship because you get to see how the vehicle thermals all shake out and just general vehicle performance.
That if you can make it through that you're in a reasonable position to go fly.
Start up. Throttle up. Plus 10.
The journey of SpaceX is a journey to give humans access to the solar system and beyond, which is really the goal for Starship.
Plus 20.
The impact that this rocket is going to have on the world, I don't think most people can really comprehend the change it's going to have.
Plus 30.
This is such a wild ride. The highs are high and the lows are low as we really work to get to ultimately launching people, which is going to be amazing.
Plus 40.
It is not impossible just because it's far beyond what has been done before. We've proved that time and time again.
Plus 50. Full duration.
Oh man, like Dan said, we've got the world's best engineering team. And I love this docu-series because it's allowing us to get a peek behind the curtains.
Yeah, the full thing is 25 minutes long, and I think I've watched it 4 or 5 times already. That's how good it is.
Same.
But yeah, so just as the team has been working hard on a brand new rocket, we've also redesigned the ground systems. The brand new Pad 2 that you can see on your screen here is making its big debut today.
We took everything we learned from operating on Pad 1 to create this totally new launch pad. Pad 2 is optimized for full and rapid reusability. We've upgraded our propellant farm with much more storage and more pumps to enable super fast filling for launch and relaunch. On the tower, we changed to shorter chopsticks, which enable even faster motion to better track vehicles flying in for catch.
Yeah, we also changed the actuators driving those chopsticks from hydraulics to 100% electromechanical, increasing their speed, redundancy, and reliability. On the ground, the launch mount was completely redesigned, and if I had to describe it in one word, I'd say it's robust. With the extensive concrete and steel cladding, it almost feels like you're looking at a battleship, not a launch pad. But it's also smarter. We've separated the fuel and aux systems into different compartments and repositioned the booster quick disconnects to be out of the vehicle's plume during liftoff.
Yeah, and perhaps the most obvious change, we've now got a bi-directional flame diverter. We said goodbye to the pancake, and a new top deck flame deflector to eliminate metal wearing down, which will help us get to zero refurbishment between launches. In fact, that new flame trench and the new chopsticks are featured here on our new Pad 2 launch shirts. This launch pad is built for maximum safety and fast turnaround because making life multiplanetary will require launching a lot of Starships. And as the countdown continues, let's change gears for a moment and head over to Tyler Lionquist in Hawthorne to talk about Starlink. How's it going over there, Tyler?
Hey, Kate, and thank you. We're back in Hawthorne, and we have a crowd forming outside of Mission Control ready to see some Starships fly today. And like Jake mentioned earlier, on today's flight, we're deploying 20 Starlink simulators, plus 2 modified Starlink satellites, which our team internally refers to as Dodger Dogs, because we stretch that V2 mini satellite propellant tank so that it sticks out from both ends of the satellite. You can see it right there. It is just missing some mustard and onions. So the Dodger Dog serves as a tech demo between the V2 and the V3 Starlink satellites and will act as a platform for testing those V3 components. So the larger V3 satellites aim to greatly expand the network's capacity, while V3 hardware is designed to support faster Wi-Fi and improved broadband speeds to customers while providing a significant capacity upgrade from the V2 Mini. And in addition to delivering future V3 satellites to the Starlink network, we believe Starship will enable us to launch our AI satellites. As you may have seen during the TerraFab event in Austin a few months ago, Elon laid out the path to revolutionize cloud computing and AI infrastructure, leveraging the unlimited power of the sun, targeting 100 gigawatts to 1 terawatt of AI computing power annually. And from there, we're looking at connectivity beyond our planet too. Building on the technologies used to connect people on Earth, the Starlink team is exploring using Starlink to enable high bandwidth connectivity around the moon. With a constellation of satellites designed to connect to user terminals on the lunar surface, we could relay data back to our Starlink constellation in Earth orbit. So traditionally, deep space comms have relied on radio frequency transmission. This new design would use lasers to relay data back to Earth, which can massively increase the bandwidth available to future lunar missions. We currently have thousands of lasers operating in our Starlink constellation around Earth. Deploying that technology around the moon could connect it with hundreds of terabits of capacity. Together, this could provide the connectivity backbone between the Earth and the moon and enable gigabit connectivity anywhere on the lunar surface, providing data for rovers, habitats, and astronauts, and hopefully some incredible views for us back on Earth too. So all of that adds up to a lot of satellites. But the good news is that there's still plenty of space in space. But that said, the Starlink team takes space safety extremely seriously, and we work hard to encourage best practices across the entire industry so space stays open for as many people as possible.
There are tens of thousands of known space debris in low Earth orbit right now. All of that debris comes from man-made activities.
A lot of people talk about space being really congested, and they show this dust cloud around the Earth of all these points, and it looks like space is super, super crowded. I think if you take all the spacecraft that are in orbit, it's equivalent to about 3 aircraft flying over California at one time. So space is so much bigger, so many dimensions that are much beyond what we can comprehend. But even though it's big, there still is a potential that these satellites could collide and could hit each other if we don't proactively share information.
The orbit of objects follow Kepler's laws of motion, explained by Newton's laws of gravitation. So they orbit the Earth in very predictable trajectories as long as another force doesn't act on them. So you can reasonably fit millions of satellites into an orbital shell with that math. Obviously, to make that happen, you have to have really tight coordination between all those satellites, and everything has to work really well together. Starlink satellites make something like 1,000 collision avoidance maneuvers on a daily basis. We predict that a close approach will occur between another satellite or a piece of space debris. We use the thruster of the satellite to make a maneuver and keep away from the trajectory of that object and reduce the probability of collision to effectively zero. Because most of the actual collision risk comes from the surface area of the solar panels, we lower the solar panels to reduce the cross-section in the plane of the close approach to further reduce risk. On Starlink, I'm also excited to talk about a program we call Stargaze. Cameras on the satellites looking up into space, measuring the star field. You can imagine 10,000 satellites staring up into space and detecting all the objects in low Earth orbit. You effectively almost have a real-time view of what's happening in the low Earth orbit environment. So we began detecting objects and fitting orbits to those objects, and currently we're tracking about 50% of the objects with perigees below 600 kilometers. This project has opened our eyes a bit to the activities that are occurring in space that are not being published. So we have many examples in Starlink satellite footage where an object came within tens of meters of a Starlink satellite, yet this was not predicted. This is extremely concerning because this type of incident could have resulted in a collision.
Last year, we flew 165 missions to space. As an industry leader, we would like to create a community where all industry providers share data back and forth. They tell us where their spacecraft are. They track their spacecraft as soon as they're deployed. They make them available to others so we know where everyone is. You know, there's some thought that if I keep my satellite position confidential and I don't share that with anyone, no one will know where my satellite is. Well, I think that's really fictitious. So we at SpaceX, we've taken the opposite approach. We've published all our data. We put all our ephemeris data out. We show where our satellites are. We show where we're maneuvering. And I think we're now showing the industry that there is no competitive advantage by not sharing your data. We're demonstrating to the outside world what good practices are. We as an industry have a tremendous obligation at this time, at this formative state, to actually communicate with each other, share best practices, and be good stewards amongst each other. It'll make us better as an industry. It'll give us an industry of the future that will continue to grow, continue to innovate, and help every company to grow and generate revenue.
To maintain safety in low Earth orbit, it's incredibly important that we work together as satellite operators and are very transparent in the activities that we are conducting. I think that an irresponsible satellite operator is one who either doesn't know where their spacecraft is or where it's going to go, or isn't broadcasting that to the world. Space is big, but operators are not always predictable. We want to enable other missions, the Moon and Mars and interplanetary exploration. So ensuring that activities like that can persist for the duration of humanity is incredibly important. You know, fundamentally, I think the message to operators is to be transparent about what you're doing in space, you know, transparent about where your satellite is and where it's going, and make sure you have the tools to ensure that that information is accurate all the time.
Starlink's future is bright and helping ensure space safety for all operators along the way. Now let's take a look into the flight profile for today's test. As we've mentioned a few times already, there are numerous redesigns making their debut today across the entire launch vehicle. In light of this, we want to keep our learning focused on all that new hardware and software, so we're running a flight profile similar to our last 2 Starship flights in order to minimize new variables.
Yeah, we'll start with liftoff, where Super Heavy ignites 33 brand new Raptor 3 engines. We power through ascent ahead of hot stage separation. Booster shuts down all but 5 sustainer engines. Stage 2 lights its Raptor engines while still attached to Super Heavy. We get to see stage separation debuting the integrated hot stage, directional booster flip, engine relight, and boost back using 33 engines. And after coasting for a few minutes, the booster today will target a landing burn and soft splashdown a few miles off the coast from Starbase.
Yeah, Ship does a bunch of fun things like deploying 20 Starlink simulator satellites, 2 of them Dodger Dogs, as we affectionately call them, single engine Raptor relight, and then reentry. Everybody's favorite part, lots of fun Technicolor colors that will be brought to us by Starlink. And if all of that goes as planned, we will finish the test with a flip, a landing burn, and a soft splashdown in the Indian Ocean. And actually, in just a few moments, thanks to Starlink, we'll be going live to the Indian Ocean and chatting with the ship recovery team stationed out there.
I'm so excited for that. That's going to be awesome.
So cool.
But sit tight. First, we're going to go to Dan for a quick status check.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Everything's still looking good. We are not tracking any issues technically on the vehicle or on the pad. Range status continues to be good, both the range out here in the Gulf and out in the Indian Ocean. As you can see, we have started our propellant load. That happened at about 36 minutes before T0. We're loading about 20% faster on pad 2 than we did on pad 1. Our flight director, Ty Huntington's back in the chair again. He was there for Starship's first flight test and 11 back for V3. He did that final go, no go at about T-1 hour. We do start loading on ship first. That happened at about T-minus 37. Booster follows about 1 minute later, starting with its liquid oxygen and then its liquid methane. And then ship fuel is the last one to kick off about T-minus 35. We're going to continue loading all of this propellant on board until about 3 minutes right before launch, 3 minutes 20 on ship, 2 minutes 50 on the booster. So we go pretty much right down to the wire. But as of this moment, still looking good. T0 set for 6:30 p.m. Central Time. Continuing to load prop, continuing to count down. All right. If you've been following along with these launches, you know we've been sending these suborbital and they splash down in the Indian Ocean. How the heck do we see some of that? Well, we have our recovery team, our Starship recovery team, and one of their primary jobs is to get those reentry views and a whole lot more. We're going to take them now. We're joining them out in the Indian Ocean. We've got Suren Sinai standing by, taking a moment from the recovery ops. He might be frozen. Let me know if you can hear me, Suren. How's everything looking out there in the ocean?
Dan, I can hear you loud and clear. We're sitting in about 8-foot waves, but it's looking like a clear day, ready for a ship to come on through.
All right, man. How many of these have you done? And like, walk us through. What's the recovery team's primary job out there?
I've done 6 and now 7 of these missions, and with every mission, we've seen it evolve, and but our primary goal has always been to clear the range. So just like we do over in the Gulf, the same kind of happens here. We send 1 to 2 boats out and we make sure there's nothing in the area so the rocket is clear to land. And then once we can guarantee that and have the rocket leave the pad, then we can proceed to imagery collection. So we have
All right, we'll see if we can get him back, but they're out there in the Indian Ocean. I think everyone's familiar. They've got the buoy cams. They've got the drones that are going to be going up. So we're going to be cutting back to them live once they get. They've been doing some practice stuff. We've been able to shoot some of this. So there you can see Suren getting those buoy boats. So they're basically out there. They're deploying these boats in the splashdown zone. If you get a live view from one of these boats, that tells you that we're pretty much nailing our target on that. And then Suren and a couple of our other recovery folks out there are going to be flying drones to hopefully get that imagery of Starship coming back. It's super critical for us to see just how that heat shield performed after reentry, and just having them out there remote, just in the middle of nowhere, plays just a really critical role in just rapid iteration on Starship and its heat shield. So looking forward to hopefully seeing some views from them a little bit later. But for now, let's head back down to Kate and Jake for the latest progress at Cape Canaveral in Florida.
Thanks, Dan. Now, if we want to get to the moon and then Mars as fast as possible, there's really only one answer: launch a lot more rockets.
Yeah, and to do that, we're going to need a few more launch pads and support buildings, which is exactly what we're working on over in Florida. So originally built for Apollo and then the Space Shuttle, Launch Complex 39A has flown 126 Falcon missions since SpaceX reactivated the pad in 2017.
Yeah, it's crazy that it's that many. Fun fact, I actually hosted the live webcast for our very first launch at Pad 39A, and it was so exciting to see that come back to life. It's also exciting to see how today, almost 10 years later, the ongoing construction and development that will bring a second launch tower to Launch Complex 39A. You can see it ongoing there on your screen. It's designed to expand our capabilities to support Starship launches in the future, while also continuing to support Falcon Heavy missions from the original Apollo Shuttle Falcon launch tower.
Yeah, and we're also building a Starship launch pad at Slick 37. And to support the uptick in future launches, there's Gigabay, a giant assembly and maintenance facility designed to prep Starships ahead of Florida launches. And when complete, this huge structure aims to hold 24 work cells and over 800,000 square feet of workspace. That's 24 rockets under one roof. That's absolutely crazy.
Could be so many.
Yeah. So SpaceX's future in Florida is quickly taking shape with our very first launches on the horizon.
Yes, a horizon that aims for regular trips to the moon. Now, staying with the lunar conversation, we're going to head back up to Dan, who has Starship Vice President of Engineering, Bill Riley, our favorite webcast visitor, to talk about the moon.
That's right, Kate. Yeah, crashing the webcast again. Bill Riley, VP of Starship Engineering. Thanks for coming, Bill. We wanted like a couple of minutes to geek out about the moon. Like Artemis 2 just flew humans around the moon for the first time in like 50 years, more than 50 years. I personally was wildly caught up in it. I don't know how you felt about the whole thing.
Yeah, I found it really inspirational. I think part of being a spacefaring civilization is being out there exploring. And I thought Artemis 2 got us back to the moon and back exploring and being out farther than we had been before.
It's always wild when you see space stuff kind of break through into the mainstream, and like it felt like that really did it. And I mean, that's going to continue happening. We're looking at a higher cadence of missions in Artemis, and Starship's obviously going to play a pretty big role in the entire Artemis program. But like, what's kind of next on the horizon?
I think what's exciting about Artemis 3 is you'll see the landers introduced now. So, maybe we're talking to NASA about doing an Earth orbit rendezvous where the Starship-based lander could be in proximity to Orion or even more. I think that's really the next step. Prove out those landers close to home in Earth orbit, and then looking ahead, going to the moon.
And we're debuting V3 now, and just some of the stuff that's now on this version of Starship is going to directly enable some of that, or it's planned to, correct?
That's right. So V3 is exciting because it really introduces it's designed to introduce all these fundamental foundational features that allow us to go out past the Earth. So for example, there's many features, but some that are visible are the docking adapters below the PEZ door that you'll notice on the as-built ship. And then as we look out past V3, there's other configurations of Starship. There is a tanker that takes the propellant to dock with the lander that will land on the moon. And think of the on-orbit propellant transfer is sort of like the gas station in the sky. And then that gas station will be what we call the depot.
And then the plan now, and the plan's been, but it's really emphasized now, we're not just going for flags and footprints, we're talking permanent infrastructure on the moon, right?
That's right. We have to build up to that capacity. So the first landers will be, a new set of boot prints to kind of start a new generation of explorers. Then we'll build into cargo landers like you see here, maybe bringing down a rover to the surface. Some infrastructure might even be staying inside the landers. And then as we look to an even brighter future, having a permanent presence in a moon base.
Yeah, I'm ready for the moon base. I need to go to the moon. That's definitely in my it sounds like a hell of a week-long vacation or one heck of a trip. But and I mean, this is the next step on making life multiplanetary, right?
Absolutely. It's literally the next planetary body we need to get to. So
all right. Well, thank you so much, Bill. I'm going to let you jump back in there as we get ready to launch this rocket. Thanks for nerding out on the moon with me for a couple of minutes. But we're not done. We got a little bit of more cool news. Stick around. Last year, the From-2 crew made history. They were the first astronauts ever to explore Earth's polar regions from space in Dragon. I got to catch up with that mission commander from that, Chun Wang. He was visiting one of the most remote places on the planet, and he had some exciting news. Awesome to talk to you. Start me off. Where the heck are you right now?
Thank you for joining me to Bui Island, and this isolated island in the South Atlantic. It's arguably the most remote island in the world.
It looks super isolated. You're only there with a couple of people. Kind of feels like a space mission to me. So let's just jump right in. You are going to be on the first interplanetary mission on a Starship.
So it's going to be a flyby mission of Mars. So a lot of people are talking about how Mars will be like. We're going to fly to Mars, we're going to land on Mars, we're going to build city on Mars. But let's get it started with a flyby.
Doing a flyby of Mars, that's a heck of a trip, but you're kind of built for this kind of mission, right? Because if you're not landing on the surface, you're spending a long time going out there, you're going to fly by it. It's going to be like just an insane couple of hours, and then it's a big trip back home. How are you kind of built to handle this kind of a journey?
This actually my style of spiral. I can stare at the map view on airplane all the way from takeoff to landing. So I think I'm enjoying the trip.
So it's not just the Mars flight, you're also going to be taking a trip around the moon, right? So kind of do that step before heading all the way out to Mars.
Yes, because even though it's just a flyby, it will try a lot of things that never been attempted before.
How do you kind of see these types of missions in kind of the grand scheme of everything?
It will light the fire. It will ignite imagination, and it will build the momentum. After we come back from Mars, you'll have an opportunity to take some real photos of Mars. Mars will no longer become a distant space. It will become reality.
Well, Chun, thanks for
calling in from, the other side of the planet. Super cool location, super cool to talk to you. And I mean, exciting. You're going to get on Starship, you're going to go around the moon and then do the first flyby of Mars. It's insanely exciting stuff.
Yeah, looking forward to that.
Oh man, fireworks indeed. Just incredible to be one of the first humans to become an interplanetary traveler while also joining Starship's first mission to fly past the moon.
Yeah, Chun is certainly a one-of-a-kind explorer. And it's even more exciting to know everyone can join a future Starship mission.
Yeah, if what you just heard excites you, challenges you, inspires you, we'd like to hear from you. Come join our team. Be one of the people walking past us out to the lawn to watch the world's best rocket launch. Help shape the literal future of humanity. Now, we need the best and the brightest, and we need you right now.
Yeah, and we have tons of openings all across the company where we're looking for talented engineers and technicians at all of our sites, including McGregor, Texas, where we test every single one of these Raptor V3 engines behind us. Bastrop, Texas, where we build and assemble Starlink user terminals.
We also need help up in Redmond, Washington. That's Starlink's global headquarters, where, among other things, we manufacture Starlink satellites. If you like the fall weather, that might be the place for you. And as you've seen throughout today's show, there is a tremendous amount of activity happening right here at Starbase, Texas. Here and everywhere, it's all part of the incredible opportunity that we have to build the future of humanity.
Yeah, so if you're interested, visit spacex.com/careers to see these and all of our other openings.
Now, I can tell you that the crowd is certainly starting to grow. Behind us, you see the launch pad there for yourself. Once again, this is the first flight test of Starship version 3. This will be the first time that we are debuting this booster, this ship, the launch pad that you see there. And you can see people walking over my shoulder here as our colleagues are moving in masses to go watch this liftoff in just over 7.5 minutes from now. It's pretty exciting stuff.
It's pretty exciting. And as a reminder, we're only a mile and a half away here. So we are very close, about as close as you can be. And we're definitely expecting to feel it.
Sorry to interrupt you, Jake. Hi. Do we have a mic? Hello. For those of you that might not know.
How are you guys?
Welcome, Nikki. It's so nice to have you here.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Oh my gosh. What do you think the Barbs are going to say when they see you here at Starbase?
They better say all good things. But they're going to be excited, and they're probably going to want to come themselves next time.
I mean, anybody can come and watch the launches. It's super accessible to the public. So we welcome that.
Okay, Barbs, come on down because this is a lot of fun. I'm excited. Is it about to happen at any minute?
So you see that number right there in the top left corner, 6.5 minutes.
6 minutes left?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, but this is historic. This is a major moment, y'all.
Yeah.
It is.
Is this your first rocket launch that you've seen live?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow.
How do you feel?
Very, very excited. I'm happy it's a good day. I thought it might be like,
I just noticed your shirt. You've got the right swag.
I love this shirt.
It's a great shirt. I have one as well.
And it's a great name, Starship.
I mean, how did you predict the future? Starships are meant to fly.
I do not know. But major shout out to Elon. Elon, thank you for everything that you're doing for humanity.
He's the man, for sure.
Okay.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, I'll see you guys
We want to
later.
watch the launch with you,
Okay, yes.
so we'll take this back because this is too loud to take outside. Wow, what a moment. And with that, great timing. We're now at 5.5 minutes. This brings us into terminal count. Dan, man, the anticipation is certainly growing here in the lobby and out on the lawn. What is it like up there?
Yeah, we are ready to go. We are getting into the final phase of our propellant loading. We are almost entirely full on ship on our main, still doing the header tanks, and we're looking well in excess of 90% of the booster, so we are looking good. Still not tracking any range, any weather issues today. Not tracking any technical problems on the vehicle, on the launch pad, looking good for liftoff in just under 5 minutes. Once we're done with propellant loading on the booster, you have over 11.5 million pounds of that liquid methane, liquid oxygen on those 2 stages. After that, we have to essentially get the pad ready for launch. We'll do something called pushbacks, where all of those lines running underground from the propellant farm up to the vehicle, they're going to clear back. They're going to push all that propellant back into kind of the bunker area around the prop farm and just basically get the pad ready. We'll see the vehicles do their final thrust vector control checkouts. So when we snoop in, we should see the engines do kind of final wiggle checks. That's how we steer the rocket. We're going to do those at about T-minus 100 seconds, so a minute 40. And then once we pass the T-minus 40-second gate, if we do need to hold, that is still built in at T-minus 40 seconds. It's built into the countdown. We can pause if we need anything like those pushbacks to complete. If we need anything on the rocket to get ready, we can hold there. We'll only stop if we have an issue. Not currently tracking one. We have one item that might hold us up a little bit just based off of what we've seen in recent static fires, but that's typically only been hanging out for a couple of extra seconds. And then once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, a lot of things will happen in rapid succession.
Yeah, that moment is called the QD, or quick disconnect vent gate. That's when we clear all the gas commodity lines that connect the pad to the vehicles. Both the ship and the booster configure their comm systems for flight and are rapidly running leak checks on gas and fluid tanks. The booster goes to internal power and its engines get their final priming for launch, while the ship's engines begin their ascent bleed profile and arms the automatic flight safety system.
Yeah, and once we pass T-minus 40 seconds, we still have the ability to rapidly recycle the count under certain conditions back to T-minus 40 seconds and hold there to assess what happened, review the data, and decide if we can proceed again all the way down to T0. We estimate we have around 5 minutes of hold time there. The flame diverter on pad 2 activates at around T-minus 17 seconds, and it enters what is essentially the point of no return at T-minus 10 seconds. And there's a chance we could recycle, but the closer we get to T-minus 10, the lower that chance becomes.
All right, we are coming up on 2 minutes. We have completed propellant loading on the booster, just shut down the fuel pump for loading onto the ship, so we're closing all of that out now. 2 minutes to go. One kind of exciting aspect to V3, we're not going to start the engines up in kind of different sets. All 33 of those Raptors going to turn on all at once. And you're going to see the booster move off the pad a whole lot quicker.
Once again, if you've just joined us, this is the first flight for version 3 of Starship. The ship, which is the upper part, the black part there at the top, the booster, which is the part below that, have been completely redesigned, as well as the launch pad that you see it sitting at, as well as the engines that power both the ship and the booster. Today's test flight is a massive step forward in our developmental program.
All right, and we're coming up here on T-minus 1 minute. So let's go to the pad and let the rocket do the talking as V3 fully comes alive.
T-minus 1 minute.
All right, so we did hit the hold at T-minus 40. Again, this is something that is built into the timeline. Not surprising, as we are doing this first flight off of pad 2. Sounds like we might already be clear. We held for a second just to make sure that the quick disconnect vents were basically ready for their final throwbacks. So we'll hang tight for a couple of seconds. think we're about to reset, and
Plus
the
one.
reset is in. Counting down first flight of Starship V3. Psych, back to rapid recycle. All right, so hold here for a second. Looks like we're still managing some pressures in the ship. Quick disconnect. All right, still going to hang out for a couple of seconds here at T-minus 40. Again, not surprising. This is new vehicle, new pad, doing all these things for the very first time. Right now we are holding, looking at some pressures in the quick disconnect, and hold reset, and we're rolling.
Flight directors, go for launch.
Back to rapid recycle, so we're going to hold at T-minus 40 again. Hang tight for a second. We'll see what tripped this last one. As a reminder, we can hang out for quite a few minutes at T-minus 40 if we need the extra time. You're not actively loading propellant onto the vehicle anymore, so the main thing you're kind of keeping an eye on is all of the temperatures inside those propellant tanks. All right, we're continuing to hang out here at T-minus 40. Team's taking a look right now at our diverter, so that water diverter underneath the system did trip a hold, but that basically just gives the team the chance to look at it, see if it's something that we need to troubleshoot in data or if it's something that we can clear this hold. So continuing to hang tight, T-minus 40 seconds. Starship and Super Heavy fully loaded on the pad. Clock is rolling.
T-minus 30, flight directors, go for launch.
We kick back to rapid recycle again. Again, just a reminder, set it before, new pad, new rocket, learning new things about this hardware performing in the flight environment. Taking a look at some of the sensors on the arm that manages the quick disconnect to the ship. I promise we're not just trying to prolong the anticipation. Team's taking a look. We've got a couple more minutes where we can hang out here. Again, it's not an unlimited time to pause at T-minus 40. We're keeping an eye on the propellant temperatures inside the vehicles. So we've got probably about 3 minutes or so left of hold time. Team's taking a look at the hold that tripped on that arm for the quick disconnect on the tower. Continuing to hold, got a couple minutes to try and clear this issue. Still holding T-minus 40, still troubleshooting this issue. Probably got about a minute or a minute and a half left of hold time. Flight control team confirmed, still working through the issue. Still have a short amount of hold time still remaining. Still holding T-minus 40. All right, still continuing to hold here at T-minus 40. While we do that, the team's looking at temperatures of the propellant inside those tanks. We kind of check that against simulations that we've run in the past. There's some margin in those. We're still holding, no decision yet. Sounding like we have the fix in place. Hold reset, clocks is rolling. We're back into rapid recycle. All right, we're back at our T-minus 40 hold. Standing by to see what tripped us this time. All right, it is sounding like we are not going to be able to clear this issue in time today, so we are going to be standing down from a launch. So if you're just now joining us, we got the vehicle totally loaded. We hit a couple of different holds as we work through that count. Again, new rocket, new pad. We're learning about a lot about these systems as we execute them. for the first time, and we're not able to basically troubleshoot all of these issues in those final seconds to get to launch. But that essentially makes this a wet dress rehearsal. We were able to fully load the vehicles, and we're going to take the time now, figure out what tripped us up before launch, and then actually get into a flight tomorrow. We do have the ability to essentially rapidly recycle. We are expecting to be able to make another flight attempt tomorrow, but obviously stay tuned to our social media at SpaceX on X and our website, spacex.com, for updates. So no flight today. We will give it another try tomorrow.
Well, that falls into the well-drat category. I do want to thank you guys for hanging out. This was fun. I guess I'll do this again tomorrow. If you guys would like to come back and join me, I'll have fresh jokes, I imagine. Close this out. Yeah, that was fun. Thank you. I now have time to eat before I head to rehearsal. July 10th through 26th, 7th is when the play is happening. You'll have to join me for that. Did I close it? Why would I have closed it? Must have hidden it. Anyway, what did I miss? What did I misunderstand? I missed the launch. We all missed the launch. We misunderstood that it wasn't happening today. A lot of fun, though. And we'll do this again tomorrow, I guess. Yeah. See you then. Thanks, guys.